Welcome back to the Mustang Blueprint. I'm Riley Cramlish.
And I'm Jack Clark.
And tonight we're here with Mr. Travis Whipple, the Vice President of Athletics here at SMSU. How are you doing tonight?
Well, doing great. Thanks so much for having me. Honored to be on the show. Appreciate what you two do.
Yeah, we're excited to have you here. So we've done a little bit of research about you, and you've worked at all different levels of athletics. What are some of the most important lessons that you've learned, and what can you talk about your past experience? Give a little introduction about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I first and foremost say just the value of teamwork, you know, regardless of the level that you're at, the size of the department, the size of the institution, community. It's about the team and really putting the student-athlete experience at the center. And any successes we've had has been because of that, which has been great. And really all three levels of the NCAA are unique and different, and it's been fun to have that experience and bring it with us here to Marshall, and thrilled to be at SMSU.
What attracted you to SMSU and the Mustang community? What would you say excited you about the role?
Well, I was really fortunate as a student athlete. I actually got to compete here. I ended up playing my final collegiate game here in the RA facility, which is pretty interesting. And just throughout that time, I always had such a great experience here. The community is so welcoming, a real passion and love for sports, and just thought very highly of the institution as well. And thought that there's a really good foundation in place for athletics and could bring, you know, nearly 20 years of experience in to help take that foundation to another level. So a program that I feel like has always been really good and strong. You know, what can we do to take it to a level of excellence and keep getting better on a regular basis? So I think those things really attracted me. And then, you know, fortunate to visit campus and interact with our coaches, staff, some student athletes that were around in the summertime, and just really loved it and excited to be here in such a great community and try to make an impact.
Yeah, awesome. We're excited to have you. I know Jack and I are both athletes, and I think even just other students are excited to have you. It's a fresh face. It's all exciting. So now that we're kind of in like the end of first semester, what has been your like signature initiative for the year, or just a semester that you've kind of brought into your first year here?
Well, we're going through a departmental review right now and really a strategic planning process. And I think it's really important to get all of our coaches, staff, student athletes, our campus, our community on the same page with where we're going, and really want to be about creating champions and Mustangs for life in the classroom, in the community, and in competition. And I think that's one thing that we can really do well here is you can have a well-rounded, balanced experience in all areas. A couple of things that we're working hard on right now that are close to getting across the finish line that I think are really going to be impactful. Looking at implementing a refueling station for student athletes, so pre- and post-workout nutrition, and for those that are using the fitness center or involved in other activities can take advantage of that. And then feel strongly about a wellness program, sports psychology, things like that can really enhance the student-athlete experience and, again, provide that well-rounded, balanced experience to help prepare you all and your fellow student-athletes for life ahead. So those are some of the things that we really have been working hard on and want to see them through this first year.
As a former student-athlete yourself, and you kind of answered this with your last response, but how do you plan on supporting student-athletes in their sport, and then academically, and then for life after their career in sports in college?
Yeah, really starting with our strategic plan, student athletes at the center, and we're going to call that out, and that really should be our focal point. And again, I think you can have a really well-rounded, balanced experience, and that's the type of culture and environment we strive to have and want to promote. And so we want you to be great on campus, in the community. We want you to show up for events, be a student, and have that traditional student experience. Pursue your academic priorities and get your degree, fully equipped to be successful in life and go out and make an impact. And so I think just throughout your entire journey, we really want to support you. We want to be along for that ride, and making sure we're aligning our departmental resources. One thing we're implementing is we do a student-athlete survey after every season and really understanding your full experience and what things we can do to better help all of those avenues, all of those pillars, to make sure you're having a really well-rounded, balanced experience across the board. Obviously, you're here to get a degree first and foremost, and we want you to pursue that. And at the same time, believe we can compete for championships. And so we want to continue to align those resources to make sure that we can give you the best opportunities on the courts, on the fields, in the track, wherever it may be. And then, a big initiative and big push is going to be to stay connected for life. One thing we want to do with graduating seniors is we want to give you a pass to come back to all athletic events so that you can be engaged right away. And hopefully you stay close, but maybe you won't. But that gives you an opportunity to stay connected with us. And, we believe this is a lifetime relationship, and the department's always here for you to support your efforts as you move on and go out and make a tremendous impact in the communities you serve. I also think community service is really important, and that's going to be a priority as we continue to move into our strategic plan in future years. And so really getting out and serving thousands of hours of service to impact Marshall in the area, but I think also preparing you for the things that you're going to face moving forward.
Yeah, and how important would you say is maintaining that relationship with athletes after they've graduated college or finished with their sport?
Well, it's critical. I mean, this is always your home. Your blood, sweat, and tears are in this program, so it's your program. We need to hear from you. We certainly appreciate the ideas that we hear from alums. We want to be about innovation and trying new things, and so always that open dialogue. But certainly want to help you in your career path and just stay connected. And we want you to come back. And so we do a lot currently with special events or reunions or opportunities to bring you back to engage and be back on campus, things like homecoming, etc. So Mustangs for life. I think that's really important.
Yeah, it's a good slogan. So you mentioned, obviously we want SMSU and all athletics to win championships and win and compete. What would you say is the culture that you want to build in this program and in the future?
Yeah, I'd say a culture of excellence. And to me, excellence is across the board in all of those areas we talked about. We want you to be excellent in the classroom as a student across campus. We want to serve thousands of hours of service. And certainly compete at a highest level that we can and put you in spots to leave here as champions. And, I think that's really important. Want to create a culture of continuous improvement. Certainly mentioned earlier, we want feedback from student athletes. We want to know about your experience so that we can keep making it better and find those resources that are really going to enhance the experience. So continuous improvement, something really important. And then again, not to be cliche or keep talking about it, but really creating champions and Mustangs for life, and that really being our focal point and giving you a great, well-rounded experience.
What are some words or examples you can think of to describe the Mustang community and the support for athletics when you first came in this year? Well, or right now?
Yeah, I think passion. I mean, I think there's great passion from the community, from our campus environment, and obviously within our student athletes. So, that's the first thing that I saw and noticed, that there's great connection. I think the community really wants us to be successful, which any good program around the country has that. So I think that's a critical starting point. And then something we talk a lot about is Mustangs supporting Mustangs. And I think it's hard to go out and ask for support if we're not first and foremost supporting one another. So I think we've seen a great culture of teams showing up for other teams, coming to games, picking those SAC game of the years, et cetera, that they're really out in full force and leading the way. And just want our student athletes to be leaders on campus as well.
Mm-hmm. So when I was doing some research about you, I thought it was pretty neat that you, at your last school, or Fort Lewis, that you guys generated more than $2.2 million in support from donors. What strategies did you guys use there that were effective that you want to implement here, or kind of go about to try to raise money, whether that's from alumni or donors in Marshall or donors outside?
Well, one of the reasons we started into this strategic plan endeavor is I think you have to have that. You have to have a story to tell, prospective donors, community partners, alumni, et cetera. So really providing that way forward. How are we going to get there? What's important to us? What are our vision, values, culture, as we talked about? I think you have to define those things. And then really it's about creating relationships. And, something that's really important to me is a win-win relationship, whether it's with maybe a business in the community that might want to have advertising or sponsorship within our venues. It's a win-win partnership with alumni or former student athletes and listening and hearing their voice, I think is important. And, for me, it's really about finding donor passion and interest and how that might intersect with a departmental need. So somebody might be really excited to support softball, and we want to encourage that and get them involved and get them connected, and they can see the impact that they're making. And then finally, just telling the story of student athletes, because I think for me personally, I think it's a tremendous cause. It's a great impact you can support through scholarships or other program enhancements, and that's providing an opportunity for you all to compete, to follow your passion, to do what you love to do, and graduate and leave here with a degree. So I think it's life-changing. I think that's an easy story to tell. And just being about great relationships and doing the right thing, I think has been successful in the past. But I think it starts with a bold vision, a plan, and then really taking it from there.
So Riley touched on this a little earlier. We did some research on you. We saw that you were a part of a national championship team at Winona State, and we were wondering, what are some things that you can take away from that part of your life, or maybe that season, that still influences you as an administrator today?
Well, we got to set the record straight, though. First and foremost, we're all brown and gold, so that's
right.
Hopefully goes without saying. But
right.
We need to throw that in there. I just go back to really an impactful time in my life, being a part of outstanding teams, and really allowed me to look at how do you strive for excellence and how do you do it on a regular basis. So we won 57 games in a row at one point in time, which was really incredible. Played in 3 national championship games. We won 2. So we won 1. We lost 1 at the buzzer that ended the win streak. And then we came back the next year and won 1. But that's life in sports, right? Things are going to happen. You're going to have ups and downs, highs and lows. And I think it's how you react. It's how you respond to those situations. So, I remember that losing in the national championship game, but I strongly feel like that experience led us to get back the next year and win it. So I think that perseverance, that resilience was really important. But the camaraderie on our teams was incredible, and I think that's something that we're still in close contact and have those lifelong relationships. And that's just of all the memories and things, that's what I really take with me, the relationships moving out of that. But some incredible experiences. We beat the University of Minnesota, which was a lot of fun, especially being from Minnesota personally. Played some other Division I's, had some awesome rivalries in the conference, and that's part of my journey back to being in this league. I really wanted to be part of the NSIC. I think if you can compete in this league, you can compete for national championships, which is exciting. And I think that's the opportunity we have here at SMSU.
Oh, yeah. So I kind of want to shift gears here a little bit. We kind of talked about your ideas for the university, all that and everything, but now we kind of want to get to know you a little bit more. So could you tell us about your journey, like whether that's through college, like did you know this is exactly what you wanted to do, the other universities you were at, like where you just saw yourself in the future, if this is where you saw yourself and all that?
It's a great question, and it evolved certainly during my time in college. I went in really thinking I was going to teach and coach. Probably basketball was what I was thinking. And I got really involved in the Student Athlete Advisory Committee and started working for the department. I did an internship. I kind of just kept showing up. I don't think they could get rid of me. And I just really found my passion for enhancing the experience for all student athletes, not just one specific team, which is great. And coaching and teaching is an awesome profession, and have so much, admiration for those that do it. But really felt like I could make an impact, in our case here, 400 plus student athletes. So having an impact on every one of your experiences is what really fuels me every day. It's what I wake up to get excited about. And so it was really throughout my 4-year journey that kind of came to fruition. And then at the end of my time playing basketball, I was fortunate to kind of right time, right place. I had all of those experiences, and they ended up hiring me to be an assistant athletic director right out of school, which was an incredible opportunity. I was 22. I had no idea what I was doing, but it was awesome experience, and I'm very fortunate. I've had mentors that have invested in me, that have given me opportunities, and that's the only reason I'm here. So during that time, I got my master's as well, and then felt like, as a student athlete and then working in a department for 5 years, it was really time to try to branch out. And spent a good amount of time in Division I, which I think has made me a better administrator. But it just really wasn't where my passion was. It's changed quite a bit over time. Not that it's good or bad, but my passion is really for small college athletics and departments that can really help impact an institution and be larger and not just a silo, so to speak, but really aligned with the mission of a campus. And so that's what I'm really passionate and excited about. So, but yeah, you mentioned it earlier, spent time in Division 1, 2, and 3, which is unique. I don't think a lot of people do that. But I think each of those experiences has certainly made me better, for sure.
How important is it for you to maintain relationships with student athletes, just as you being the athletic director?
I think it's important. I mean, it's critical. I mean, it's why we do what we do. And, as I mentioned earlier, student athletes are at the center of the department. So I think having that connection, hearing directly, whether it's in the hallway or a formal meeting or through, our survey process or whatever it might be, I think it's critical. So one of the things I started when I got here, set up a meeting with the Student Athlete Advisory Committee President, Eddie, on a regular basis, just to get the pulse and the temperature of how things are going, what we could be working on. And, a few of those concepts that I mentioned earlier around refueling station or wellness and sports psychology just came out of those types of conversations and trying to listen and learn. And, that was really one of my first acts coming in, was I just wanted to try to get out and meet as many coaches, staff, community, campus members, but obviously student athletes, and understand the journey and the experience and what we can do better, because we want to be about continuous improvement. So I also keep an open door policy for anybody listening or watching.
Yeah, that's what I did. I walked right up and
you
he was
did.
standing outside his office.
Yeah, and we set the appointment right then and there.
We
but
did.
That's important. I want to keep that open door policy, and not just for things like this, but which is great. I appreciate it. But any student athlete that wants to connect, want to just highlight and share that message.
So when you played at Winona, I feel like all of us as athletes, like in our conference especially, kind of have our rivals and teams that we like get excited to play or compete against. When you played at the time, who was like your biggest rival, or the team you just like always wanted to play and it was always just kind of a scrappy game?
Well, a few. So certainly coming here to the RA was always a fun experience, and we came a few times on Tropical Night. They sort of pinpointed that date for sure, which was great, and an awesome environment, and it was really cool to see it on that side of things. And then one of the years we won the national championship, we beat Northern State 4 times, and that was their only 4 losses of the year were to us. So twice in the regular season, once in the conference tournament, once in the regional, which is just wild to think about.
Yeah.
Just had their number.
Yep, had their number.
Great. That's awesome.
But, I think there's just such great depth and so many wonderful programs in the NSIC. And as I mentioned earlier, if you have success in this league, you can compete for national championships, which is, exciting and certainly a part of what we want to do. Not the only thing. We're not a win-at-all-cost program, but certainly want to do everything we can to compete at a high level.
Right. So now that you're here and not an athlete at SMSU, who is the team in the conference like this year that you just most definitely want to beat?
That's a great question. I think all of them, right?
Right.
Them all.
Right.
I'm okay, beating that school in purple, whichever one you're thinking about. And then that one just across the border in South Dakota too.
What sport would you say you enjoy watching the most? Like whether that's collegiate or just like cheering, or because obviously you played basketball and maybe that's not your favorite to watch, but what is your absolute favorite?
Well, all sports, first and foremost.
Good answer.
Yeah, I knew that one was coming.
Absolutely. But, as I've experienced and, haven't been through a full year here yet, it's been fun. I mean, like when we talk about game day roundup and the incredible pregame environment that is on a great sunny day, and maybe sitting in the outfield watching softball, or, I know we don't get a ton of opportunities for cross country and track and field to be at home, but one of my favorite events to go to is the conference cross country meet, and you get to run to all the different spots and be a part of it. So I would say I'm a fan of all of them, and really enjoy just supporting our student athletes. One of the things, I try not to ever miss a home contest that we have. Occasionally I have, work commitments or whatever, NCAA or NSIC stuff, but other than that, I try to make every home event that we have, which is fun. And I love to see everyone in their different settings and different opportunities. And then travel once in a while. I'll hop on the bus and get on a road trip and just see how the student athlete experience is from that perspective as well.
Yeah.
Cool. So I didn't answer your question, but maybe I hopefully kind of.
No, you did. No, you answered it well.
Yeah.
Strategically.
Another personal question, is there, back when you were playing or just right now, is there maybe a professional athlete or a coach that you worked with back when you were playing that still influences, things that you do now, or like gave you inspiration for your life now?
Well, all good thoughts there. So I grew up in like the Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan era. So that's, probably a player to look up to, and just that whole group. I was very fortunate at one of my stops. I got to work with the all-time wins leader at Rice, Division I school. His name's Willis Wilson. Had a great impact on me personally and professionally, and someone, just as I talked about earlier, great mentors that I've had throughout my career. He's certainly one of them. My coach still coaching in Division II that I played for, and my coaching staff, so that's pretty cool. I've got some teammates that coach, which I appreciate. And one Brad Bigler was on staff here when I was playing, so we had some good matchups, and still, obviously, the head men's basketball coach here.
That's great.
It's kind of crazy to think about, but it's kind of really cool. So I know you have kind of talked about just balancing work and everything and going to all the athletic events. Would you say it's difficult to balance your family life and life outside of work, or do you kind of blend it together? How do you make time for your family outside of work?
Well, really fortunate, really blessed to have a great family, and we do this together. I mean, you'll certainly see them at games and competitions, and that's important to us. And I think you, in this profession, definitely have to have a supportive family situation or support group. We've got a 6th grade daughter though who's getting really involved in a lot of activities, and so she's going quite a bit with her sports and events too. But I'd say we do it together, and it's really important for us.
Good, that's awesome.
Does she have a main sport right now, or is she kind of doing everything, or?
She's doing a little bit of everything, which we're encouraging. Like, do as much as you can right now, and you'll find your passions. And probably as it goes further along, you'll kind of figure out where you want to be. But really been involved in soccer and basketball and dance, and whatever else might come up from friends or school, etc. But
awesome.
You can send her to all the camps here.
Exactly, she's ready.
Yep,
she's excited.
That's great.
Yeah, we'll be ready for her if she ever decides to play softball. But we'll
Absolutely.
still cheer on all the other sports. If you had to give one message to even just students, not just student athletes, what would you say is a piece of advice you'd like to give them, especially kind of in that young adult age, whether they're transitioning from high school to college or college out to like a job and all that?
Just enjoy every minute of your experience. I think as I reflect back, it goes by quickly. And so enjoy every minute, build those relationships and friendships. I mean, those are the things that really matter that you're going to leave here with. And you'll have great memories in whatever you're doing, but I think those are the things that are really there for a lifetime. So invest in that. One thing I wish I would have done earlier in my student athlete experience was really sort of document and begin thinking about my future career and all the things that I was doing as a college student athlete, because I do think that can set you apart and really be something that can help as you look to get into the workforce and again, just separate you. So just keeping track of all the service hours you're doing, the podcasts that you're hosting, the leadership roles that you have, because, at the end of 4 years, that equates to a lot, and you may not remember it all at the end. So just kind of keep a running tally and a list of the things that you're doing. This is important.
Yeah. And is there anything else that you'd like to say, before we end it here? Or?
Just, it's been awesome. It's been a great fall. Really appreciate how welcoming everybody has been, and excited about what we can do together. It's going to take us all. We're going to have a bold vision and a bold set of goals, but I know that we have the right people here on campus and in the community to make it happen. And just excited to see all that through, and just want to reiterate, open door for anyone on campus. Come by. Would love to see you. And athletics really wants to be a very part of the fabric of our campus community. So if there's ever any way we can partner, we'd love to do that. And couldn't do anything without saying, go Mustangs, and let's ride.
Right. Yep. That's right. Yes, thank you so much. It has been an honor to talk to you and get to know you kind of outside of like the business and your life and how you ended up here and kind of your plan for SMSU. So we're excited to see that.
Appreciate you both. It was great spending some time with you.
Of course.
And thanks for the production team, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, production.
All right. Join us next time on the Mustang Blueprint.
I learned all about it that day.
Yup. Yeah, I was trying so hard not to fall asleep on the drive back, and everybody else was sleeping except for Mavi at the very back of the vehicle we were in. So it's me driving, a row of sleeping people, and then Mavi. So I'm like yelling across the car with Mavi while people are sleeping to stay awake for like the 4-hour drive back from US Bank Stadium.